Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, and in this video I'm going to be switching hats or switching gears and talking about astrology. Specifically, the full moon. The full moon that is coming up is actually on September the 10th, 2022, and the date is actually flipped here. So the month is actually in the middle, and the day it starts with the day. So this is 5:59 a.m. Overnight, and so some of the major features of this astrological layout is that, and you probably, if you've seen any of my previous astrological depictions, you kind of know the routine that I use, and so I look for how many planets, and in my mind I'm dividing up between personal planets and non-personal planets. So like I'm going to teach you a little bit here, and here Mars, for instance, is more of a personal planet because it's transiting about 2.5 every pretty quickly, and then the Sun, of course, transits quick. Moon is very quick, every month, so it spins around a circle every month, and the Sun every year. So just to put that into perspective, and this is Mercury right here. This travels pretty quickly, and one thing that happens to this is oftentimes it goes retrograde, and there's different types of communication problems during that time. That's the belief, at least, and so we also look for Venus, and I'm trying to look for Venus in here. So the main thing that we want to focus on then now that we've gone over some of these planets, is where these planets are. So I call this above the horizon and below the horizon. So when you have planets above, that means that a lot of things that you've been working on, of course this is harvesting, so kind of going to materialize what you've been working on. Virgo is the ascendant, which is interesting because it's kind of helpful. People in Virgo usually are very good with analytic and problem solving. So this is a very good ascendant to have for the next lunar cycle, and so you have Venus, so anything that you are passionate about, any projects or and any sort of long-term sort of goals that you've been working on throughout the term, you can kind of throughout the year, you can harvest that and bring to fruition, bring to completion some of that. So that's the ascendant, and then if you have if you really want to get into some of the other personal planets, the first part you really want to look at is Pisces, Virgo, this dynamic tension that the full moon creates. Full moon, of course, is known to create tides and different things, so that's the dynamic tension between Pisces kind of being wishy-washy versus Virgo being the ardent problem solver. So that's the full moon pull, or polar pull. Now looking at Mercury, this isn't Libra, so Mercury being kind of a flighty sort of planet, in Libra it balances out. So Libra, Mercury in the second house, and then looking at a lot of these planets, for instance, Jupiter, of course, is there, but now focusing on Mars, Gemini Mars, which is really good with multitasking. People with Gemini are extremely good at multitasking, and if you want to start, ignite certain ideas, innovation within your profession. This is the time to use that Mars energy to try to try to bring ideas to fruition. Then, of course, so putting this all together, what does this mean? And I'm gonna at this point put in the Sabian symbol that Edgar Cayce put with this degree. And this is specific to the 1741 degrees. And in a gigantic tent, villagers witness a spectacular performance. So here it is. In a gigantic tent, witnesses perform a villagers witness a spectacular performance. Sometimes some of these are difficult to decipher, but it's better to leave it at this statement and take from it what you want. The other parts of the interpretation, of course, looking at how many squares and trines. Squares are typically, and oppositions, these are typically seen as more challenging than trines. Trines are seen as easier to attain than, say, an opposition or a square. So squares are known as building blocks in astrology. So you have some of the outer planets that are playing a role. Jupiter, kind of hidden in the 8th house. 8th house is typically, and actually this is the 7th house. This is the 7th house, and this is the 8th house. And no, this is the 8th house, and this is the 9th house. Like the house numbers were mixed up. And 8th house is the hidden house. It's kind of ruled by Scorpio. You think of Scorpio. And then 12th house is more the house of death. And death, and then you go into the horizon and rebirth. So this is kind of the way this all works. And then 7th house is the house of partnerships. 9th house is considered the house of learning. 10th house is the house of careers. And so on and so forth. So if you look through these houses and then go counterclockwise, you'll see that all the stages of life are all provided throughout the houses. So this is an interesting piece that I wanted to share as kind of side knowledge about how to better understand Western astrology. So if I were to summarize the main ideas from this reading, I think one, make sure you take advantage of the analytic sort of perspective that Virgo has to offer, but then at the same time using the big picture sort of perspective and context of Pisces. Use that to create and not only harvest what you've done, and make sure you focus on harvesting that, but also kind of bringing to fruition new ideas, and using that binary opposition between analytic Virgo and kind of Pisces being more abstract. And that's all. I think use your Gemini Mars, and as I said, and these are the predictions for the next month. Use all the energies, and let's make it a successful month. Thank you for listening.